Hello and welcome to another edition of Conversations with Mrs. R. Thank you to everyone who's commented on past editions. We're so glad that you shared this time with us. And we do hope today will be another time that you will learn something from our conversation. And of course, what would a conversation be without Mrs. R? So it's a pleasure today, as usual, to welcome Mrs. R. It's great to have you. You're looking good. Welcome, Mrs. R.
Thank you.
All right. And of course, Mrs. R always comes with her friends, and we usually have a starting lineup. That changes once in a while, but we have some people that are, they don't move. So we'll start from the originals that stay on our starting lineup in our team. It's always a pleasure to have Auntie Tochi in the house. Welcome back, Auntie Tochi.
Thank you very much.
At this point, you are Assistant Mrs. R.
I gladly accept. The wise one.
The wise one. And returning on our starting lineup today is Kingsley. Now, you people, the last time we had him, it was just amazing. So we had to drag him back. Great to have you, Kingsley Bature.
It's such a pleasure.
Welcome back.
Always an honor to be here. Whenever you call, it's always an honor and a privilege.
Thank you for always saying yes.
Thank you.
And we have a new sign-on. Every team, we always have a new sign. We have the ones that have been collecting money plenty. Then we have a new sign-in on our team. And he's young and he's got so much to share. So it's a pleasure to introduce Timi Odunsi. It's great to have you.
Hi. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure and honor.
Now, Timi, you're going to be on the hot seat today because today's topic is how do you know she's the one? And you know how we say, when we're asking questions that have to do with the male perspective, we're not just going to bring women alone. We want to hear from them. So we have Kingsley, who was able to get the one and has kept her for 16 plus years.
16 plus.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Timi, who is actively searching for the one. So it's a great mix today, Auntie Tochi and Mrs. R. So how do we know she's the one? First of all, what are we looking for in this one? So Timi, I'm going to start with you because you're the only one that doesn't have a ring on your finger in this gathering.
Okay.
So what are you looking for, Timi? How would you know she's the one?
Okay, how I'll know she's the one. First, she has to give off value.
Give value?
Yeah, she has to give value. Okay, so I value in the sense that I believe relationships are not supposed to be 50-50. They're supposed to be 100-100. Now, 100-100 in the sense that when I'm down to probably like 80 or 50, your 100 can sustain us. When you're down to maybe like 80 or 50, my 100 can keep us up, you understand? And we're not shaking in any form. That's one value. The second one would be, I like someone that keeps it real.
Real.
I tell people, you can't pretend to be what you're not for so long. You can only put up that act for a while. So if who you pretend to be is actually not really you, over time you break character, like you break, you understand? And your real personality would actually come out. So I like people that keep it real. I like people that don't seek validation.
So they are competent.
They are confident. You're confident, comfortable with who you are. You don't need anybody to tell you, oh, you look good. You know you look good. You understand? Because
that's a good one.
Because when you start seeking validation, you miss a lot of things because you're trying to please everybody. Because you're trying to get validation. You understand? So you must not be like a diehard fan of validation. Be confident when you trust yourself. Be bold, basically. Then I like someone who has a happy spirit.
Okay.
You understand? You have like joy, like nothing can dampen your spirits. You're always happy because, happiness rubs off on people. So if I'm being around a happy person, automatically would be happy even when everything isn't like really so good. You understand? Basically, so happy person.
Wow. Timi, I'm just like, you know what I'm amazed at? He's talked so much about intrinsic values.
Yes.
He's talked about character. Because ladies, we hear he wants like this. Statistics. Everything he's spoken right now has been character, the inside of the person. He's not even come to the physical.
I like what he said about being someone who's real.
Yeah.
So I want to ask him a question in the context of all the wigs and eyelashes and, all the drama. So how do you interpret that with being real? Or is this just to do with character?
My being real is mostly based on character.
Okay.
You understand? Physical looks are temporary. There are a lot of things you do when you're 30. You can't try them when you're 40. You can't try them when you're 50. You understand? So those things will always come and go. Fashion trends come and they go, you understand? But the character stays. Character is basically who I'm going to be engaging with on a daily basis. You understand? So if your character, if you can keep it real with me character-wise, then I don't think anything you decide to do, makeup, lashes, those things will come and go. So it's not really.
I heard a preacher once say, before you marry any lady in today's world, have a conversation with her. Is the hair yours? Are the eyelashes yours? Are the teeth yours? And then we'll take it on from there. That doesn't bother you, so that's refreshing. That's very refreshing. Good.
Kingsley, how important is what he's looking for now before he says I do? How important is it 16 years later?
He's spot on the real issues, because the truth is, as a guy, even when the packaging and the statistics are thrown at you, there's still the underlying thing that you're looking for. And most guys go for that. Even guys that are frivolous or they are playboys and all that, they can play with all the ladies that have the package. When it's time to settle down, they still go for the value.
They know what to sift out.
Do you understand? So 16 years later, it's still the value that keeps you. Butterflies in relationship are beautiful, but all of us know that butterflies don't live long.
The real butterflies.
They don't live long. So it just tells you that some of those aesthetics and outward things that you try to say, oh, this is what I'm looking for, may not last long. The lady drops 2 and changes
body, then what happens?
What happens? Right? But it is the core values
that stays.
That's what
and
stays.
That's what you see.
That's what you see. Even after many years, when the packaging has changed, the real beauty has not.
That's so important.
Fantastic.
And if I was a lady watching and listening to him, what should be going on in my mind?
I would do a reevaluation. Certain things you put high up there on your priority list may have to drop. And in this generation, we hear a lot, aesthetics are beginning to take over. And they don't go that far. Someone said, if that's what has brought the man, that was what the man was looking for. In year 1, year 2, year 3, 20 years down the line, that's not what he's looking for. And like the men have said, it is the value that you interact with and relate with every day. By then, the hairline may have started, So if you haven't come with these intrinsic values, that's when trouble begins to, it's like, this is not exactly what I wanted. And then you begin to have issues. So if I was a young lady, I would go back and look at my charts. Where am I on this? Where am I on that? Where am I on that? And there's something Timi said I like. Confidence. Confidence. Please you can't be running around looking for validation. You get into trouble.
Yes.
Be happy with who you are.
Yes.
And knowing that I'm actually a person of value. And always seek to top up. Every season there's a new value set. Keep topping up. And then while you wait, it will happen.
So, Timi, I'd like to also ask, what's your challenge? You know what you're looking for. But Timi, you're single.
You've let the cat out of the bag.
He's single.
You really put him on the spot now.
You know what you want. You know what you're looking for. What's the challenge you're finding in this time?
Does it mean no one has immunity? You have immunity today. Immunity.
Okay, so I'll say one of the challenges would be that women, most women these days, they tend to go for the flashy ones, you understand? The ones that, would I say, already out there, you understand?
Already made?
You understand?
Already made
Yes.
men.
Yeah. So girls my age will tell you they'd rather date older guys
I see.
Wow.
because
They're
the
settled. They
things,
already have
the things
everything.
they are looking for,
They
the
already
older
have.
guys currently have them, you understand? So they want a guy with a GLE 550 and you are not there yet, but that's what they want. So they can't really settle for you. So you would be friends with them while
Oh, yeah, you're in friend
why-
zone.
Do you understand that kind of thing? They'll just friend zone you basically because they think you are not there. Of which, yeah, really, I'm not
It's
there
true, you're
yet.
not
You
there
understand?
yet.
Because I'm still growing.
What happened to real love?
It has a different
Timi
definition
smiled.
now, I think so.
Are these older men single as well?
Yes, some are single,
Some
actually.
are,
Not
some are,
necessarily.
some are.
Some are, some are not.
Yeah, so some are not, some are not. So that's one aspect.
New dynamics at play.
So that's one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah, so that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is not too many people are emotionally available because they've been hurt in the past.
That's
So
real.
you see
That's a
someone
real
you
one.
like, you talk to them, you relate with them, but in the long run, you realize this person is actually still trying to heal from something that's set them back. I used to be in that space before, honestly. I used to be in that space where I just push everybody. So sometimes who you want is not ready or doesn't want you, and then you just have to
Step back.
step back again, reassess, reevaluate, and see. It varies per people, basically, you understand? So this might be this person's issue, this might be this person's reason for still staying single. And then there's also the part of not trying to rush into it because it's a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
If you rush into it, you rush out of it. You understand? So you also have to take your time while doing these things, you understand? Ask God for direction. Do not leave out the Christian values that you are supposed to see in the person.
Yeah.
Because, you feel, she's everything. She ticks all the boxes, you understand? So just stay, just be calm, observe, assess, and
I like
basically,
that.
yeah.
I like that. Kingsley.
People don't heal from one relationship before they jump into the next. Very early on, when I was a much younger guy, one of the things that God said to me is, don't open a new door without having shut the old one. So a lot of people open this door, they jump out from this relationship, I'm not doing again. They open the next door. You find that things from the other rooms seep into
the next one.
into the next room. They are in the relationship and they're saying this relationship is not working. Meanwhile, it is being corrupted from something that you didn't deal with
baggage you're
in
carrying.
the past.
So what's the solution?
People need to know how to heal. You actually need to talk to a therapist. You need to work with someone, with a counselor. There are issues that people have, and then you sit with them, and just by asking questions, because some people just go through stuff and they push it down or block it away. And what happens is that when a new relationship comes, the person is wearing a lens that is already tainted.
Yeah.
So if you have that blue lens, for example, even when you're looking at a white wall, it looks blue.
Keep seeing blue.
Yeah.
Both ladies and guys are guilty of this. If you don't sit with a counselor, sit with a mentor, sit with a therapist that is trained in how to do this, to walk you through that hurt that you have been and deal with it either by prayer or by counsel and let you come out, you will find out that a lot of people are no longer whole apples. They've been beaten at different points. And you know, apple, when you bite it and you leave it, it begins to rot.
There's a blackness around
It
it.
begins to discolor and all over. That's what's happening to a lot of people. They are not whole. So even going into a relationship, they can't really get to true love because they don't really know what it is anymore.
And then just to ask you on this, what about those who have been so scarred that they don't even want to give it a chance again?
Yes. So
Everybody is suspicious. Everybody's a suspect.
That's part of the healing.
Yeah.
For example, there's this thing we used to do. We call it the tree of life, right? We just draw a tree, but the roots mean something different. The roots talk about your origins. The trunk talks about your memories, good and bad. The leaves talks about your ambitions. So there are different things that when you sit with a counselor, by just going into those things,
Step by step.
you go through the hurt.
Yeah.
I like to give this analogy, and which is most people are front and center with their pain, so they can't see anything.
Yes.
But it's when you are at a certain height and you look down, the things that look so big when you're on the ground
Yes.
no longer look that
Yes.
big. And so what we do is when we walk people back,
Yes.
you raise them to a point where the things they considered were critical pain points are not that big anymore.
Yeah.
Any
And
longer.
those are the things that you need to get over before you can get into. Otherwise,
And that's a journey.
That's a journey.
That's a journey. It doesn't
And
happen
you must,
overnight.
you must
You have
let
to be-
yourself
you have to
go
be
through
You must
deliberate.
let yourself go through that
you
journey.
have to be deliberate to do it. You can't wish it. You can't
No,
wish
it's
it.
not a willpower something.
And you can't
have to-
ignore it.
You can't ignore it. He said, I was there before, but I'm not
Yes.
there any longer. You know when you have crossed over.
when you
Yes.
have crossed over. You know you're not carrying that.
So many Christians feel that going to see a counselor, a therapist, is an admission
Of failure.
of failure, lack of faith. And the Bible is there. It's got the word, and the word should set me
To set
free.
me free.
There was one of the things that were said about David when he led the children of Israel. They said he, through the skillfulness of his hand. Now, there's the part of having the word, and there's the part of the skill in applying the word to deal with certain issues.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people are Christians. A lot of people have the Bible. Not a lot of people know how to use it. So sometimes you go to some people and they tell you, quote it 3 times a day. And so it's like tablets. Quote these 3 scriptures 3 times a day, or recite it. It's the principles in the Bible.
But it's going through skilled hands.
But it's going through skilled hands.
Yes.
That's where the counselor
That's
comes
where the
in.
counselor
Yeah.
comes in. So it's going through skilled hands. The problem with what you raised, Ma, is the fact that there's a doctrine that we have received that is counterproductive for us as Christians. That instead of enhancing us, it limits us. It almost looks as if when you talk about therapy, it looks as if you are going into science. And when you talk about science, it looks as if you have
left
lost faith.
Yes.
But God is the God of all knowledge.
Yes.
He's the all-knowing God. Meaning that all knowledge is with him. The knowledge of faith and the knowledge of science are both with him. So why should we get only one side of the blade? Why can't we get the side of science? Because our God has both.
Yeah.
Is the God that heals by his word. He's the same God that heals by the skillfulness of a doctor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Doctor.
Yeah.
So it's just as simple as a
Yes.
doctor.
Yes.
That's just how a therapist
And
is. It's as
he
simple
can
as
choose
it-
to
to heal you.
Either way.
I do hope you've enjoyed our conversation today, and I do hope a lot of the points that were shared has resonated with you. Remember, at the basic part of it is character is so important. Value. What do you value? And this is for the ladies and for the men. What are your value systems? What do you want? 16 years from now, 20 years from now, of course, the packaging is nice. I personally wanted a handsome man, but it's beyond the packaging. What is the value system? What's the character you're looking for? 100% to become one whole. If there's one thing I got from Timi, is that, because when we were growing up, we had 50-50. But Timi says it's a total 100 and 100. And of course, if you're already married and you're thinking, Marian, I'm already married now, I've passed Timi's style, I'm going through issues, it's not the end of the road. You can walk your way back and figure out an answer. And remember, if you have questions, we'll have lines below us that you can talk to us. We'll have all the lines you can see. You can actually talk to us, call us. If you're in a level where you just don't know what to do right now, you've married, it's not going well, this series is also for you. Would like to hear from you. The whole idea is that when we have this conversation, we're hoping that we help you wherever in this journey you are in, the beginning, the middle, or even towards the end. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. My name is Marian Anazodo. It's been a pleasure and a privilege bringing it to you.